What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. You're gonna want to hear what I'm about to show you and present. I'm not exaggerating on this. Look, the math even backs it all up. Something big just clicked into place. You ever had one of those moments where you're just sitting there and a light bulb goes off? And you're like, holy crap. And then you dig into it and you really think about it and you're like, no one's talking about this. I don't think anyone actually understands it. Look, this isn't the usual bullish chart pattern stuff that I'm going to show you. I'm going to be talking about here a real mechanical supply shock that is 100% lining up for 2026. And if you are not positioned before it hits, you're going to be watching the explosion from the sidelines. And look, I don't want you on the sidelines. I want you on the field with me in the starting lineup playing out there. The crazy part about this is that the clues, they're already here. Bitcoin's final wave, institutional accumulation, ETF onflows or inflows, and on-chain data all pointing towards one moment where XRP becomes scarce. Not hypothetical here, not emotional, but we are talking about a legitimate scarce race. You're early. And by the time we're done with this video, you're going to see the whole map laid out. So without further ado, let's dial it in. And as always, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. It is the ultimate way to support the channel. But look, if you're looking to go ad-free and support the channel with some monetary value, go ahead and become a member. Hit that join button below every single video. You'll get some ad-free content out there. You'll get top priority in the live streams because you get a nice little emoji, or not emoji, it's an emote, excuse me, next to your name. And make sure you subscribe. Bitcoin. God, it looks awful. 84,004. Whoever thought we would say Bitcoin looked awful at 84,000? Isn't that crazy? I think it's crazy. $84,453. It's down about 0.5%. It is down almost 10% on the year. ETH coming in at 2,748. It's down 1% and it is down over 17.5% on the year. XRP $1.92, it's down 1.44% and is now officially down 7.32% on the year. Total cryptocurrency market cap 2.91 trillion. As your fear and greed index, well, as you guessed, we are in extreme fear. Now here's an interesting take. Tara's out here. She's like, wave 4 has printed that they can now measure the top of the wave 5 for the macro target here. She doesn't believe we are done. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Look, you're either in the camp of we're done and we're not going higher, or it's not over. This was a correction that people claim they start coming and that we can go higher. She believes that Bitcoin is going to top around $155,000 to $159,000. And she states a major correction would begin, a flush down to 60,000, maybe even 30,000, a multi-year reset that's going to unwind all of the leverage and all of the speculation. Very interesting, because then we get over to Wiz, and Wiz is out here, and I believe this guy was just bullish and now he's bearish again. These people flip. They change more than I change my underwear. You know what I'm saying? But he believes that the top was in around 125,000. He believes that was the top of the zone. Here we go. Let me blow it up for you. You can see it. You can see 125 marking the top. He believes we get a correction down to 63. Then we can move over as one case. Or in this case, he believes we hit 65 and then we chop around again as well. So he believes we're going to mark a local bottom around where we're at. And then we're going to get a push towards the $98,000, $99,000 range, to come back down to 63 to 64, which he believes will be the ultimate low. Then he thinks we're going to range between 75 and 95 and then make a move to 110. Or his other option is that we break down from here from 80,000 straight to 63 to 64. That would be the ultimate bottom. Then we get an instant bounce to 80 to 85. So, I mean, it all depends what camp you are on. My camp is very simple, right? You break 74, well, pack your bags, get ready for a little hibernation mode, which is okay, more time to accumulate. If 74 can hold, see a further push to the upside in 2026. That's the camp that I'm in. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about the scarcity. Let's talk about these inflows and what we're seeing. This is where the alarm bell What is it called? A bar. I don't think there's an alarm bar. The alarm bell starts ringing. When we look at XRP supply and we look to see what's coming out there, and we talk about the ETF inflows, we have 18 ETFs that are still pending. We have 2 live, 2 Monday, definitely another one next week. By the end of next week, we should be at 7. Worst case scenario, we're at 5. That's okay. Still 18 pending. If these ETFs pull 50 million a day, your supply in 6 to 9 months, it's going to be non-existent. It's not going to be around, right? Institutional accumulation is finally outpacing available liquid supply. And you have the big boys still coming in. Frankie T, 1.5 trillion, right? Your ETFs are swallowing millions of XRP every single week. Every day, they're swallowing up millions of XRP. Locked accounts, escrows, institutional demands, they are all squeezing the float day by day. You do realize this is the exact same pattern that we saw happen with Ethereum before its massive supply shock, right? But XRP here, it's even more extreme because your float on XRP, your float is a lot smaller, more concentrated and more controlled. 2026 is lining up to be one of the years that we're going to look back on XRP and realize that it's going to become the asset that people wish they would have accumulated when it was boring. And Chad wants to put this out. Total up to today, your total ETF holdings. Remember, Bitwise has been live for 2 days. Canary's been live a little over, 6 now? 7 days? I think it's 7. I think it's a full 7. So between these two running, you have 9 days of runtime between these two. 7 trading days. 205 million XRP into 7 days. That's insane. Let that sink in. 205 million XRP gobbled off the market in a single week between 2 of these companies. I mean, if you can do the math in your head, if we just have 2 of these companies and they're doing 205, just figure they're doing about 100 million each. If you get 5 companies, that's 500 million a week. 500 million a week. Times that by 4. That's 2 billion a month. Gone. We're going to have 18 ETFs. Folks, that's wild. That is absolutely insane. This isn't retail. I told you that this is not retail. This is all institutional FOMO that is kicking in. These two have the first mover advantage. We can take this 205 and next week we have 2 more on Monday. We now have over 400 million XRP gone in a week. Add in the other one by the end of the week. If we get 3 more, you have 7. Do the math on it. 7 times 100 each. It's 700 million gone in XRP every single week. Do you understand what is coming here? Don't forget, 21 shares. They're coming as well. This isn't a time to be messing around. This isn't a time to get nervous. I have stated my stance from the beginning. I will not be selling a single XRP until these ETFs were up and running. They are starting to come to life. They are starting to kick into gear. That is the moment I've been waiting for. I've always told myself if I was able to get in before the institutions were able to get in, I was going to be in a very good place. And I told you, once all of them alive, give it 30 to 60 days for this to happen. And you can see the math. If we have 5 live, 500 million, that's 2 billion gone after 30 days. When you remove 2 billion from an asset that only has 3 to 3.5 billion on the exchange that is available, what do you think is going to happen to the price? It can only do one thing, and that one thing is to go up, folks. That is why we talk about the supply shock. It is going to happen a lot faster than most people are ready for, because it's going to come out of nowhere. Because you're not going to be paying attention to these ETF inflows, because what's going to happen? You're going to get bored. The market's going to rock you to sleep. But meanwhile, in the background, they are gobbling up supply of XRP off of the over-the-counter, and you don't know what's going on because you cannot see what's happening on over-the-counter. And next thing you know, boom, switch gets flipped. They're buying it right off the public order book, and the price is going to skyrocket. Write that down. Remember it. I'm going to leave it like that. Enjoy your Saturday, folks. Make sure you check out the other YouTube channel. I'll see all y'all on the next one.